Hey everyone. On today's episode, the way we're going to do these podcasts is I'm going to have co hosts that are kind of like rotating. And every now and then, if I can get other people, convince them to come on and get an interview or get some kind of an explanation on their field of expertise, then I'll do that. But for the most part, there'll be just rotating guests that are, or rotating co hosts that I can consistently get on so that I can consistently have conversations about I don't know things that are important in my opinion. And if you're listening and you stay tuned in, then I suppose they're important to you too. Um, they're mostly just going to be my friends from various fields that they've got their life into. And this one is with my friend Christina. She's a long-term substitute teacher trying to become a teacher, but she works in as an intervention technician and in special education mostly as well. So this conversation that we're having is about this new, I guess it's a new law in California where they're trying to merge these uh, kids who have special education needs, but have special needs. They're just trying to merge them in with the rest of the population, kind of thing. So hopefully you get some value out of this and some insight on what's going on over there. I don't live in California, so it's kind of amazing to hear all these different policies that each state is running itself as. I'll hope you enjoy. I was, I guess, I wanted to talk about the the stuff you were saying about with the schools before. You know what I'm saying?
hmm With the
Like
inclusion and the
what?
with the inclusion and the um, trying to hold small groups in the classroom.
Yeah, it's like this version of No Child Left Behind kind of
hmm
thing, but it's like trying to just fold in people who need kids, fold in kids like students who need extra assistance because of like whatever reasons, right?
hmm
And it's trying to, if I got this right, it's trying to incorporate them in or something, like pull them out of having their own special needs class and instead just putting them in the
Like
general population.
a major part of the IEP for most kids with the IEP is small group setting. So for like this area in which they struggle, they need a small group setting. That's literally like the part of many IEPs, like outside of the diagnosis and everything, is like you give those kids that small group or one-on-one attention that they need to like get proficient in
Okay.
a specific area, but they're taking away they're still calling it small group, but they're holding it in the general ed classroom now. Like that's the goal. Like that's the ultimate goal is to hold small groups in the gen ed setting. So you're not having a separate setting anymore. You still
Does
holding
that
the small
work?
group.
Does that even work?
I don't think so. It does to an extent with certain students, but there are students who it's not going to work for. Like a prime example was today. I had like in my ESY class, the extended school year class, I had 7 students show up out of 10 for that were on the roster last week, or out
Okay.
of 11. And I like thought it was going to be like boring and stuff, but these kids were like participating in like grade level discussion. Like they were like wanting to like, we were doing these writing activities and they were engaged in it, raising their hand, like getting like really participating in a meaningful way. And I was really like pleasantly surprised because a lot of these kids don't participate in class or are like so off in their own little world, they have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
And then, so I was really excited and about the progress, like not the progress, but just like how confident they were in this. Like there were 3 adults in the class, 7 students, and they were all participating. And it was just like, it was fun. I haven't seen a lot of kids with IEPs participate in that way in a gen ed setting. And then I told the kids, like, well, this coming week, we're going to have 15 more kids join us. And they're going to be for this other program because they're converging the programs during summer school. So we have ESY and then we have ELO, which is basically just like the Boys and Girls Club run program. And then we have Migrant, which is the ELs. And so they're
Okay.
converging it all and like having them all in one classroom. So now this week, ESY and ELO are joined together. So we have 15 gen ed students and like I think this week we're going to have 10 ESY students.
Okay.
So we're gonna
So
have
you can
about
have like
25
25
students.
people.
Yeah. So two lead teachers and two paras. And one of the girls told me, she's one that's like was doing just part like doing really well last week. She's like, I don't want the 15 kids to join. And I was like, yeah, but it's just like part of what it is. Like it's gonna happen. And this today we were trying to do small groups and we're trying like they're being super noisy over here. And I'm trying to run small groups with the kids that we still have to meet their minutes. And she's like sitting there, she's like, I can't hear anything. This is why I didn't want 15 kids to join us. And I was like,
Yeah. Well,
I'm
that's the
with you.
whole thing
But
too, because it's like, I mean, the classroom size alone. Like, I think a
mm-hmm.
lot of people will look at like, I guess, how many teachers you have to students ratio, and they'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we have 10 students for every one teacher. It's like, yeah, but if you have all of those in the same room, you can have four teachers. You still got 40 kids in one room. Like that doesn't,
Yes. Yes.
and also you're trying to mesh kids who have special needs with kids who don't have special needs.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, I'm just here because maybe I didn't do so hot and English or math or something, so I'm going to come here and for the summer school or something, and or even just regular school in general. If they're going to do this, they're starting it in summer school, but they're going to roll this out in everything in
Yeah.
general education, like during the school year.
Yeah.
Like that's that's a bad idea. Like that seems like a
No,
bad idea to me.
it's just very ineffective. Like today was a
And
prime
it's
example
called
because it
inclusion,
happened
though,
just
right?
it's called inclusion and it's happening across the board. Like they did
Great.
it, they're doing it with special education. And I noticed that like so they have all the like special education teachers and the paras pushing in. And I don't know because I wasn't in there towards the end of the year when it was happening, but I was in intervention. And they pulled us out at like they told us we could not pull small groups anymore. Like intervention is supposed to be that tier two, where you're supposed to like a student who is struggling, we don't know quite yet if we should get like hold an IEP. Like so you like identify a student, see if small group instruction benefits them. If it does and they like are able to meet grade level, you can stop pulling them for intervention and you don't have to go further. But you
Okay.
can't intervention is a core piece of the whole SST process. SST, I forget what it stands for, but it's just that's what the process is called, where you identify a student, see where they belong. And they stopped allowing us to pull kids out of the classroom. And now we have to hold like small group instruction in a classroom of 25 to 30 kids with one gen ed teacher and no paras around. And you're trying
Yeah.
to hold this small group and discuss literature or teach a hard
That's
math concept.
dumb. Why?
It's
Is it
dumb.
like
And
what's the
you can't
purpose of
hear
this?
you can't hear yourself think. Like there's no hearing yourself think, much
Yeah,
less trying to teach.
have people not I mean, I know you're a teacher. I'm not a teacher, but like I've gone to pick up my kids every now and then, and I'm like, wow, like it is loud in these rooms and it is just hectic. Like
Yes.
so much hats off to the people who are teaching, because I couldn't do it. I'd be like, oh like none of you are listening, and I guess none of you are going to learn today. I would just that's kind of the mindset I would have towards it. But
Yeah.
why are they pushing this way? Like why is it like that? Like are they is it funds? Is there not enough money, and so they're like, let's downsize everything?
I couldn't tell you the real reason. I have my speculations, but
What
I
is
don't
it
know if
called? Can I look it
it's
up?
inclusion. That's what they keep calling it at our school. Um,
For like the whole state of California though?
I want to say it's the whole state of California is going the inclusion model. Inclusion model. I would type that
Inclusion
in.
model?
Yeah, but I don't know. My theory is they're trying to do away with special education. It's like a severely underfunded program as it is. Like case in point, we started ESY. They didn't even give us no paper. We didn't get any paper. We didn't get any writing paper, any blank paper. I had to go out and buy my own paper. They have like these
Ooh.
like anchor charts they want us to make. I had to go out and buy my own anchor chart paper. Like
What
they
is an
give
anchor
nothing.
chart? I don't even know
Anchor
what that
charts are just
is.
those like big white blank pieces of paper where you write like if you go into your kids' classrooms, you'll see like formulas written on them or
Oh
like
yeah, okay.
yeah. Uh,
Okay, I found this is advancing inclusive education in California schools. The there's a link here. the AI says that it has to do with adhering to the least restrictive environment provisions
Yeah.
um, of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. I don't
So it's
know.
a prime example of California yet again taking something too far. The least restrictive environment is necessary. You want the kid in the gen ed population as much as possible, but I don't think that that should come at the like they always say in the IEP. Like this comes at the expense of your child spending 30 minutes during ELA independent group time. Like, so you're trading off. Like, they don't get that independent group time or that independent time, but instead they get small group time. Like, that's the trade off. But now
Okay.
California, no, we're all in gen ed. That's it, all in gen ed.
This this doesn't make sense to me. Like I guess I thought that like general education was like general education's garbage in my opinion. I'm sorry, it
Yes.
just is. It
No, I
sucks.
agree
Like
with you.
America's school systems are failing
Yeah.
across the board,
Yeah.
especially relative to like all of our like I wouldn't say like competitors, but just like like other countries. Like
Yes.
we're not doing well at all,
No.
and it shows. And like it in the schools, like even having phones and stuff like that, the kids just don't want to listen, especially if there's a phone there. And then the kids that do want to listen, they don't get to because you
Mm-hmm.
got kids that are like, I'm going to play my music and I'm going to do this and I'm going to be. And then by the time the teachers like corrected that student, if it's only one, class is nearing an end. I don't know. Like that's the stuff that I keep hearing from my kids is that, there's kids that have just they're like, nope, like even in high school that are just like, I'm not doing this. I'm going to do whatever I want. And then I know that that's always been the case historically, even when I was going to school too, right? But I guess I see it, it's more, it feels like it's more broad. Like it's more commonplace now.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was in high school, there's like, hey, there's these kids. There's not many of them, but they don't really care. They're going to do what they want. And now it's kind of like just this like underlining feel for things is like most kids just don't care. They're going to do what they want. And what's crazy to me is my youngest ones that were in, even when they were in elementary, there was kids with phones. That the phone was bigger than their hand. They had to have those little button things on the back, and they had just these massive phones. I was like, your kid is like 7 years old. Like, what are you doing? Or
That's
even, like it's just crazy to me. So I'm trying to see this thing here. Read this. It's a big report, but it's like inclusive education and why it matters. Like, I'd have to read through this whole thing, which would take a lot of time. So I'll do it another time. But it's good to know like where it's coming from. I guess it's new, right?
mm-hmm. It's a fairly new model. Like I get the wanting to be inclusive of kids with learning disabilities. The thing that I feel like
Here's the thing I found.
um, I can't see it.
You can't see it?
Mm-mm. I could probably Google it later though.
Oh, that's fine. That's weird that
Uh,
you can't see it.
I mean, I can see it. I just can't read it.
Oh, okay. I
Teeny
was
tiny.
like, "Wow, that
No, I
doesn't make
could see
sense."
it.
Those are two different things.
I just can't see it.
Oh, that's fine. No, that's fine. It's just dumb. It seems like backwards to me that it's, hey,
It's
we're
just
gonna.
like that. It's grounded in like a very ideal like concept. I don't know. Like there's like an it's an ideal that I feel like is just that an ideal, and there's no actual like practicalities of it.
It's
Like
probably
there's
like one
no
of those things where it sounds good or feels good, but
yes,
like in practice, it's not good. And like,
yes,
it's like, oh, this doesn't actually work, but it'd be neat if it did.
yeah. Like it's gonna like look good for us because we're an inclusive school. It's gonna look good for I don't know. Like I
I
just
hate
don't.
the
I
whole
don't.
thing that like it's inclusive. Like some of the most exclusive people I've met are this inclusive people. They're
And
like,
that's pretty
oh,
much like our
inclusion, except for
district.
you. You know?
So for you, no, that's like our district. Like I feel like they're pushing inclusion, but at the same time they're like cutting funds in like all the wrong places. Like they're like cutting special education funds. They're threatening to cut like all of the support. They're threatening to cut counselors. They're threatening to cut behavior technicians. They're threatening to cut paras, vice principals. They're threatening to cut all of the support. I just feel like they're gonna like go all the way. Like once upon a time, special education was like non-existent. Like you couldn't even go to school if you had like a learning disability or any kind of disability. And then now it's just gone like it's gonna go all the way this way. It's just
Yeah,
like no like happy medium. And it's like I feel like
that's
it was working where it was. And now it's
that's
just like I don't know. They're making it really hard for kids with learning disabilities to access
yeah,
education. Like now
that's
it's like not, yeah. And they're pushing the use of like paras and special educators to also pull gen ed kids who are lower into the small groups. So now like you're not just focusing on your special education kids anymore. You're focusing on any kid who is like lower
mm,
for any reason. Like whether it's like because they are like just distracted or they're disturbing the class or they just don't want to or they
yeah.
like rather than having a learning disability.
That's I don't like that. That's like I said, like I think that's dumb, but
Yeah.
to me it just seems like I feel like America I don't even like yes, I feel this way, but there's actual data out there already that's like America is falling behind pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
We have all this push of like technology into the classroom by like Apple and Google and all these other
Mm-hmm.
corporations that want to sell MacBooks and Chromebooks to the schools. And all it's doing is letting kids like play video games and they
Yes.
run proxies and the
Yeah.
teachers don't know how to stop the students and they're like, "Oh no, we've programmed all of these books to not be able to do that." It's like, "No, you didn't cuz like they can and it's not hard."
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it cuz I'm old now, but kids do, they
Yeah.
figure it out no problem. They share it with each other cuz it's cool. And to me, I think we got to move away from trying to answer all of our school problems with just technology.
Mm-hmm.
We it's like to me it's like it's always looks like a pyramid to me where there's a ton of like elementary schools, there's a couple of middle schools, and then there's even fewer high schools. And I
Yes.
don't understand that because the kids don't like disappear.
Yeah. They're
It's like,
not shrinking in numbers. They're
yeah,
not.
it's the
Yeah.
same amount of kids,
Yeah.
more or less, here or there, but it should just be like if we had five elementary schools, we should probably have five middle schools and five high schools.
Yes.
I understand that everyone's like, oh, that's so expensive. How could we do that? It's like, well, gee, I don't know. Maybe instead of sending billions and billions of dollars on foreign wars or the Pentagon, we could spend that on our education system.
Which is
Like that
going to
would
better
probably
our
solve the
future.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that education gets shit on time and time and time again, and then it's like we're raised like literally one of the dumbest generations is existing right now,
Yeah.
and people are shocked. And it's like, well, look at our
Why?
education
Why
system.
does that
Like
have
there's,
to
yeah,
be? Yeah.
like our district literally goes from like 8 elementary schools to 1 middle school.
That's insane.
It's,
And
yeah.
then your class sizes are like 62 kids for every one and a half teacher. It's gonna every one teacher,
But it's true. It's like there were kids in the high school a couple years ago sitting on the floor because they couldn't accommodate all the kids,
Really?
like on the floor. And I remember when I was in high school sitting
Must be
along the
getting a
back
good
permits.
education.
Oh yeah, great education.
God.
But no, it's just education is like the least
Everyone attacks
like
it. It's
it's
like, oh,
yeah.
your school's not doing well, so we're gonna cut your funding. That's backwards to me. Because it's
That's why
like
we're not doing
we
well.
need the funding
It's
because we're
like,
not doing well. Like,
yes.
help us.
Yeah.
Where and then it's like, oh well, that's just corruption and waste. And it's like, audit them. That's the
Mm-hmm.
part that people like really pisses me off with people. They go, oh well, America's full of waste, fraud, and abuse, and the whole Doge thing. It's like, yes, it is. How do we correct for that?
Mm-hmm.
Regulation and bureaucracy, like it or not, that's the answer is administration. And you have people conduct audits and you have like inspectors general and stuff like that, that like, supervision and layers of it that
Mm-hmm.
so no one person's at the top that goes, oh, no one checks on me. You
Yeah.
make it like a circle.
Yeah.
And it's, this whole our current administration of Trump is all like, oh, we care about waste, fraud, and abuse. No, they don't. They just cared about like gaining the system for themselves. But you see it with every administration. It's not just Trump. It's also Biden. Like, what's so annoying about it is that like the school system's been failing for years and years and years. It's not
Hmm.
a new thing. You can't blame Trump for it. He's not helping it. But the Biden administration was bad at it. Obama, I believe, his administration, like they kept with, I guess, in my opinion, if you keep with the same policies as the prior, you're no better if those
Hmm.
policies weren't working. With the idea of like, we will increase funding for schools that do well and decrease funding for schools that do not, then that doesn't make sense to me because it's like those ones need the funding. They like, and I know you and I have talked about this in the past. I also think like how they cut up how schools get funded is the dumbest shit ever. It's more complex than it needs to be. You could
Hmm.
literally take, and I know a lot of people don't like this, and I actually do want to talk to you about it. I would assume people don't like this because people are like, well, my $10 should go towards me, or at least eight of them should go towards me.
Yeah.
And I'm proposing potentially none of them will go towards you because let's say like the state of California, you have the whole state. And instead of it being broken up by district, you could start it by county and then
Hmm.
expand it to state level. But the tax collected to fund schools would be distributed evenly to every school there.
Yeah.
Um, that makes more sense to me, and because then we know we have rich neighborhoods and poor neighborhoods. That would
Hmm.
help like blend it out, like smooth out the inequality that our current version of American capitalism is producing in like large amounts.
Yeah.
And you could, if that starts working, that it would work. It would just, people would not like it because they'd be like, well, I pay $10 into the tax system and only $2 goes towards the school that I send my kids to. $2 go to this school, $2 go to that school. I want all $10 to go to this school, or at least eight. And it's like, well, what do you care more about? Obviously, everyone cares more about their own kids. That's fine. I get that. I do too. But if we're like in this together and we're trying to build a better society, it's like if you can afford to have your dollars go elsewhere, then why not? Instead of like, oh, you're not performing, let's take your dollars away. I guess it just makes more sense to me. I don't know if I'm getting convoluted with that, but like just spread it out because then like education's always cited as an indicator of like a better like life, like being able
Hmm.
to afford a better life because you're educated. Um, and if you just spread out the tax dollars so that all these schools could afford it, I know there'd be people, in the metropolitan areas that would be like, oh, we need more money here because there's more people here. But if you spread it out, people would migrate. Eventually they would migrate,
Yeah.
especially if it was spread out and like, hey, this school, kind of like in the rural areas of California, is paying the same or more as this school because they have more money to work with. And so they're trying
Hmm.
to attract talent and teachers. Then people will be like, hey, let's move to this other town. I can get paid just the same over there as here or more. And then we'll send our kids there too because I'm working there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
People wouldn't like that at first, but it would help spread out the population density. I think, anyways.
So I think, like, it's again, that's an ideal thing, but I think, and this is going to be bitter me talking right now. People like to know that their child goes to a better school than this person over here. Like they want their kid to be like my kid has music class, my kid has art class, and my kid has like all these things that your kid's school does not offer. Like there's a lot of population, the rich crowd, who wants to be able to say my kid goes to a better school with this and this.
Seriously?
Yes.
Like,
Can
there's
you
people that are
not?
like, I want, not only do I want my kid to have these things, because you're making it sound like they want to make sure that their kids have something that other kids don't.
That is. It
That's what
is.
it is.
It's a real thing. Like
That's
it's a very
insane.
like
That's
there
like
is no so that's
evil.
why It is evil, but that's how the rich stay rich and they stay ahead. Like, and I didn't understand it. I always truly thought that people could make something of themselves regardless. And I still think that regardless of your circumstances, but it's a lot harder if you're not born into money because like having interviewed at schools with money or toured campuses with money, I can tell you that a public school in Poway is far different from a public school in our district. Like it's like this
Right, but
the same public
the
school, the same state funding, they get like but it's not the same state funding. Like these schools are like the programs they offer and it's a public school. So it's supposed to be equivalent to the public schools elsewhere, but it's not. And it's just like no wonder these kids are going to do much better. They get like instruments. They get their own instruments. They get music class every day. Like that's not something that's like affordable at our district. Like they get like bilingual, like they get Spanish lessons, they get Chinese lessons, they get whatever lessons they want starting in elementary school. That's not offered at our
well,
district because it's not like
the
it.
idea that these parents like that confuses me, I guess, or baffles me is that there's actual people that are like, not only do I want my kids to have these things, but I want to make sure that other people don't have them. Or that if you have the same thing that my kid has, my kid always needs to have one thing more.
It just I love
That's
that that baffles you because
that's what it is. That's what you're saying.
that's a
Because that sounds
reality.
like a
That's
bad person. That sounds
it
like a
is.
bad person.
It is. But
Like
that's
I want my
how
kids to succeed, but I'm not like, hey kids, let's take from the other kids so that they can't. That's insane. That's what a
that's
crazy person does. That's
I
what
love that
evil
you
people
live.
do.
I love that you live in that bubble because that's definitely like a real thing that happens. Like there are the wealthy who don't want their kids, who want who want their kids to have more and be better off and to be able to flaunt that.
That's so
Like
dumb.
it is dumb. Have you ever
That's
read
like
Smooches by Dr. Seuss?
Sneeches.
Yeah,
Is that the one where they got like stars on their stomachs and stuff?
the stars upon daughters. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen actually a video of that one too.
Yeah,
Just trying
that's
to
pretty
fix my
much what
thing here.
I feel like the world is like. But that's what's happening in a lot of these
That's
places.
insane. That's crazy. That's what like bad people do. They're like, like, hey, if you want to do well and you want what's best for your kids, do it and do what you can to do that
Yeah.
without taking and hurting others. But if you have the express feeling of, I need my kids not to do well, but they need to do better than others, because there's a difference there. It's relativity.
Yes.
You can do well in the broad scheme of things, like, hey, doing fine, everything's going well.
Hmm.
And then, hey, we're doing better than them. It's just relative. It's like, hey, at least you're better than that kid over there who never got instruments because I made sure that they didn't get instruments, or I made sure you're the only one that got instruments. Like, that's messed up, in my opinion. That's a jacked up person. Those are bad people. I
But
hate
that's
them.
like club sports. Like club sports for us used to be like you had to earn your spot on the team, and now it's you buy your spot on the team. So club has become very much like a lot of people in our town like no, you can buy your way onto the team. So a
It's
lot of us
stupid. The team would
it's
do
dumb.
bad then when it goes against other teams that
Yeah,
have
but
people
you
who
can
earn.
say your kid's on a club team,
Who? What?
which is
What does that? What does that do?
I don't know. I'm not one of those
What the
people. I've seen
heck?
those people.
Ah, my
I used
kid's
to
on a
be
club.
friends with one of those people. He never brought his kid to practice ever. His son was on our team, and one of
And
fit
his
or
kid never came to practice. He just like
his kid
bought him.
never came to practice. But then his dad ended up putting him on club. And then I asked one of the other kids. I was like, "Hey, did this kid ever show up?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Figure." But
That's
he like
crazy.
he
What a
maintains.
waste
He
of money.
continues to make the payment just to maintain that status on that team,
You
so
should
he could say, "My kid's on club."
get a bumper
I,
sticker and sell it to this guy. Be like, my kid's on a club team.
I should, right?
It's $50 for that bumper sticker.
And
They can
you
afford
would
it.
do it because it shows a status that his son didn't necessarily earn, but it shows a status that he wants his son to have.
That's crazy. That status chasing and then also using your kids to chase status is
Yeah,
like an insane thing to me,
Well,
you
instead
know?
of letting his kid play club, like I would pick up his son for like practice. I'd pick up his son for games because he could never make it. So I would do it. But like when the kids playing club, I'm like, I'm not gonna run your kid around extra. Like that's mine's not on club. Like I'm
Yeah,
not doing that. But
yeah. Like that's crazy. And that I bet too though that kind of sounds like the kind of person who would take advantage of someone to do that kind of stuff if you didn't stand up for yourself or say for yourself, yeah, I'm not going to do that, you know. He'd probably be like,
he's a
"Oh, well, you
pretty
wanted to."
pretty shady person. Like I used to consider him a friend. There's a lot of reasons I'll tell you in a personal conversation why we're not friends anymore. But he's just not like he's not a
That's crazy.
he's a grimy person.
I don't that's very much like that whole like keeping up with the Joneses stuff in my
Mhm.
mind, but like on
Yeah.
another level too because
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess I do assume that the majority of Americans want America as a whole to succeed, and they want all of America and all Americans to succeed because if we all succeed, then we're all better and we're all stronger for it, and like we can help each other. That's kind of like one of the ideas I have of America and like of
Yeah.
Americans is like you're an American, cool. Like I want you to do well. I'm maybe we compete on some level or another if we're both in the same business or in a
Hmm.
sport or something, but it's just competition, and the competition's there to make you better, to harden you against your opponent, and to strengthen you
Yeah.
and give you, better perspective. It's not to be like, and now I've crushed you and you're gone. It's like, no, because that's another American. You want that American.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my thought of like America in general is that we should be working together. And then you got like, see, this is the thing. Okay. This is what I think about it must that's where it comes in where like money disconnects people from reality
Mhm.
and they don't see themselves as like a shared identity with other Americans. They don't like, yeah, I was born in America, but like I'm better than you and everyone
Mhm.
else. And if I wanted to, I could snap my fingers and get on a plane and go here and do that. And it's like they no longer associate themselves, and this isn't unique to America. I think it's in every country. I think it's just a matter of like attained wealth or a level of prosperity for an individual that exceeds the rest of the like the majority of whatever country they're in. Like I'm sure there's ones like this in China and Japan, all that kind of stuff, Australia and stuff, and in Europe where there's just people who they don't see themselves as part of the people that they were actually born into. They see themselves separate
Yeah.
or better.
That's better. Yeah.
And it's, it's fine. You want to be special. That's fine. Be special. But um, I guess I'm not like, I'm not like advocating for like deep nationalism, but I think there is a level of like humanity to nationalism because you see your fellow man
Because
versus
you're
like,
looking out for each other
yeah,
instead of just looking out for yourself.
right.
And that's what a lot of I feel like and where I'm at, a lot of America has become just looking out for yourself. But that's
Yeah,
like
I
where
think
I'm
so
at.
too. I think a lot of America's been individualized, and it's
Hmm.
like, hey, we can sell you your individuality if you want it. And I think that in the grand scheme of things, where you have these people who are so like hyper wealthy, hyper rich, they are still a part of a group. It's just that group is much smaller, and they have more resources though, which is
Hmm.
really wonky because money is a claim on resources. And so if you have more money, you have more claim, you have more power to make a claim on a resource.
Yeah.
Where so now you have like individuals and groups of individuals as well where they can have way more than everyone else. And that's one of those things that they use in economics and statistics where they'll say wealthy people consume less of their income as a percentage on needs or whatever it is. And it's
Hmm.
like, well, yeah, of course, because their income is so massive that like 1% of it covers their needs.
Because
Whereas
their
like,
needs aren't any greater than
yeah,
ours.
their needs are the
But
same. And
yeah.
then, and if you look at it too, you can look at it in absolute dollars. They'll actually outspend on needs because they'll get like better stuff. Like say
Yeah.
housing, their housing will be way more expensive.
Yeah.
They'll still have the need of housing, but their housing will cost more.
Hmm.
So it's a trick that a lot of like, I don't know, like rich people do, and like politicians who get paid by rich people do, and a lot of people fall for it. And they fall for it because our public education system's trash, and like we just got a bunch of garbage public schools that are underfunded, and then they go, oh well, there's so many people here, we have to divert funds, and then that creates fraud because people take advantage of it, and they're like, there's so
Hmm.
much going on that no one can possibly audit this or keep it in check.
Yeah.
And it's like there's so much room in America. Like I think a lot of people forget because the way maps are kind of made, it's easy to think like, oh man, Russia's huge. It's like, yeah, Russia is big, but like America is very big as well. And
Yeah.
we have tons and tons of land and space, and like yeah, like if you looked at Canada, Canada looks really big too. Um
Hmm.
on your normal like I always mess up the pronunciation of it, but it's like the Mercator um projection. It's your
Hmm.
typical one. It's your standard map one. I have some maps, but they're all on the walls, so I
I
can't
was
take
like,
them off
what
and
are
show you. map, map. There's a globe over there. But anyways, it stretches it out.
yeah.
And there's parts of Canada that are like really not really inhabitable. Like they're inhabitable, but like you don't really want to live there kind of thing.
Yeah.
Same with like Alaska. There's parts of
And say
Alaska where
like,
you're like, I could
yeah,
live there, but like I don't want to.
but nobody wants to.
Yeah. And so like America's got this sweet spot in the like longitude latitude of the world where we have lots of arable land, lots of like land for that's maybe not be arable like arable to like grow or whatever, but you can build houses on it and stuff.
Mhm.
And I like it when people superimpose parts of the um other countries on top of America or America on top of them. You just really see just like how massive it is. My point is like we have tons of space, we have tons of room. We don't need to have these highly concentrated cities
Mhm.
like we do. I'm not against high concentrated cities. I'm just saying is that we don't need them to be these special little situations, and that's what they are. They always get these like here in Minnesota, like Minneapolis and St. Paul are like highly concentrated, and like the vast majority of the population of Minnesota is in those cities. Um, and then as you spread away from it, the population decreases
Yeah.
per city and per county. But there's a lot of voting power in the cities.
Mhm.
And that's a problem
Yeah.
because it's not representative, and that's the
Yeah.
whole point of a republic, is to have representation. Like,
Mhm.
and that's why gerrymandering's like allowed, is because it was supposed to be, hey, you can redraw it as your demographics change, but instead it's turned into this game of like, how can I redraw the maps
How can
so
I get
I
as
can get the
many of
most out of them?
my
Yeah,
constituents as
where's yeah,
possible? Yeah.
it's like this, and they'll be like, I'm gonna carve this little piece out, and it's like get the
Yeah,
most
I want
yield of
this island
my
over here
base over
too.
here. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I that's why I think like if you were to spread out allocations for public schools and even increase, God forbid, increase the budget for public schools, maybe take a little bit from the Pentagon and put it towards public education.
Now you're talking blasphemy, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna get sniped by a Patriot missile or something. It's coming out of my wall. But if you had that, you could offer higher wages. You would drive migration within, each state that adopts this program, and it would be. There's always winners and losers in economics and in policymaking, and this would obviously make that high density population a loser, especially the
Mhm.
ones that wanted to hang on to the past, and they were like, no, I'm going to stay here. We'll get some more people in office to change the legislation, and if it doesn't change, then they're really going to hurt. Point is that like we got to start making policy and moves in our economy that are beneficial to the vast majority of people rather than just these little
Oh yeah.
interest groups and stuff.
Yeah.
And this would do that, and it would take time too. There'd be a lot of people pretty Also, too, you probably piss off the townies at every rural town because they'd be
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, all these immigrants here," and it's like, but those are Minnesotans. They're like just moving from one city to another city, and they're, "Ah, like my town's small and decrepit and dying." It's like, oh, okay, like whatever.
Sorry, we want to bring life back to you, but
Yeah, like there is a mentality of that, of just like people wanting their quiet, do nothing, one horse town.
yeah,
And it's like, why? Our
why? You
taxes
have
are
nothing.
low.
Your
You
house.
start bringing people in. It's just dumb. It's selfish, is what it is. It's a selfish mentality.